Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer. I'm the host of Best of Us Investors, a YouTube channel here. We have a tribe. We call ourselves Best of Us Investors, and we have a website, and we have a Discord. And I invite you to join our Discord. To get there, go to Best of Us Investors and send me your email address. I'll send you a morning letter, and in that morning letter, it'll give you a link to the Discord. So what I wanted to talk to you about today is, if you've been to my channel before, you know I'm a retired financial advisor. I'm basically a conservative investor. I believe in investing in companies that are going to change the way I live. I have been driven very strongly by a number of companies. Amy Webb talks about them, the big nine, the people who are gathering all the data that's going to be a big part of how your life is going to change from tomorrow on. So data is what's driving it. Another thing of interest is I'm something of an automobile freak. I have about $200,000 worth of depreciating assets sitting in my garage, 2 German-made vehicles. And then last weekend, I went and test drove a Tesla, and I now know there is an electric vehicle in my future. And I thought it was a Tesla, but I thought, well, let's do a little bit more research. And then some other things just recently happened. I saw that China kind of put a kibosh on this banking IPO ant. And then I saw that China is putting some restrictions on Baidu and Tencent and Alibaba. They're 3 biggest tech companies, and that's out of their nature. It just didn't fit. And then I kind of connected another dot, and that is that it looks like we're going to have a vaccine for the coronavirus, and the coronavirus is going to be something of the past, probably within the next year. Okay. And then I said, okay, then with all this happening, why is China changing its posture? Well, I think, and President Trump has openly said, that China was the cause of the virus. So, and I also know that in next year, I believe it's in February or March in Davos, Switzerland, there's a schedule of what they're calling a reset, where all the world leaders are going to come together. And I know what the topic of that conversation is going to be. How can we make sure this never happens again? And then somebody's going to say, and what the hell are we going to do with China? And so, are there reparations? Is there something like that coming on? So it looks to me like China's trying to become a more, I guess, friendly competitor in the world economy. And maybe it's going to be a part of the new world order that we all kind of just try to get along better. So with that in mind, my mind opened up and said, maybe we need to look a little closer at maybe making investments in China. And so my first place to look was electric vehicles. And like you, and I have, in fact, bought some NIO. There is another one that's called Lai Motors, and then there's Xpeng, and of course there's Tesla. And then I came across a report, a study of a company called Build Your Dream. They go by the symbol BYD, and I don't know if it's for real Build Your Dream or if that's just something they created for me. And I looked into Build Your Dream, and what I discovered is they're a huge company. This report was written in 2019, I believe it was July, and it reported that they had some 40,000 employees. Well, that's sizable. In fact, that's about what Tesla is, and that they're they're in the electric vehicle business. They call it the new electrical vehicle business. And they build electric buses, forklifts, utility vans, street sweepers, garbage trucks, and then they are the world's largest battery manufacturer. All kinds of batteries, including batteries used in cars. I said, well, this is kind of interesting. And then as I read this study further, it says they're the biggest producers of taxis. And I said, wow, that's kind of an interesting niche. In fact, they said in Shenzhen, virtually all 20,000 taxis are electric vehicles made by BYD. So, wow, they're getting some real experience in the electric vehicle business. And to give you some representation, in New York City, electric taxis, there are 20. Yeah, 20,000 in Shenzhen and 20 in New York City. Kind of gave me kind of a read on how China's approaching this electric vehicle business differently than the U.S. So I read on, and it said, in China, there are 500,000 electric buses, whereas in the United States, there are 1,000. 1,000 as opposed to 500,000. Okay. Also, it then told me that half the electric vehicles sold in 2019 were sold in China. Now, we know that Tesla makes vehicles in China, and so we know that a lot of those are sold in China, as well as, I suppose, some of them are exported to the United States. But I just came to realize that, wow, this company, BYD, is a major player. Now, as I said, when they wrote the article in 2019, the article said they had 40,000 employees. So I thought, okay, how does that compare to other electric vehicles? And granted, they do more than cars. They do buses, they do forklifts, they do batteries, they do all this stuff. Tesla has 48,000 employees. NIO has 7,000. LI has 2,628. And Xpeng, XPENG, has 3,760. What? BYD is more than 10 times? So I thought, well, maybe I need to get a update on that. So I Googled how many employees does BYD have? And they gave me the current number. Remember, when this article was written in 2019, the article said there were 40,000. Google tells me there's 230,000. That's roughly 5 times the size of Tesla. I need to look a little closer at this. I said, wow, this is the leading manufacturer of electric vehicles, possibly in the world, and nobody knows anything about them. So I said, well, okay, are they listed? They're listed on the over-the-counter market. I just bought 500 shares of them. I had to pay $4.95 as a trading fee because they're over-the-counter. I think I bought them for about $25 a share. Then I started reading even further, and something really hammered me. Back in 2014, I believe it was, Warren Buffett bought 10% of BYD. He now owns 25%. Berkshire Hathaway does, of BYD. What? And everybody's talking about NIO and Li and Xpeng and Tesla? I've never seen anybody talking about BYD, and that could be me. That could be me. I just wasn't looking because I don't, up until very recently, I don't buy China stocks. I now own, I believe, 3 of them. So I said, I need to share that with you. Now, my video was scheduled to be, I did a video on why Amazon is such a bargain at $3,130 a share relative to the fact that their real asset is Amazon Web Services, and there is a chip company that's driving the power of their computing power, and I was going to do a video on that company, but I'm going to push that back a day. That'll probably come out, I think, on Sunday. But this is important. This is important because the Chinese government is really, that they have to be behind the electric vehicle. Number one, because they are such an enormous country. They're 4 times the size of the United States. They have the largest auto market of any country in the world. And a lot of that is because a lot of their people are just moving up from motorcycles to automobiles. So there's a lot of that. But they also have a tremendous pollution problem. They also have a problem that they don't have oil. They have to import all their oil. So oil's expensive. If they can push this electric vehicle industry and subsidize it, it's a win-win. It's a win for the people. It's a win for the government. It's a win for the environment. And it's a win for the automakers. I now own, I think it's 500 shares of BYD. It's only represents maybe $16,000 of my portfolio. I don't think it's that much. But I think you need to know about it, and I think you need to look into it, and I think you need to read this report that I wrote, or that I read. And what I'm going to do, as I said, it came out in April of 19. I'm going to attach it to my newsletter, and I'll leave it there for a number of days. So if you would like to get a copy, it's about a 11-page report, and it goes very deeply into their management, their history, their position within the country. The other thing I liked about this is I see these electric vehicles, and the one I looked at with Tesla was a $70,000 automobile. That's not a mass market automobile. I've seen some by Leaf. What was that? Was that Nissan or Toyota or whatever? And it was still a $30,000 automobile. And BYD has a beautiful competition vehicle to Tesla, and I think, if I remember right, it was about $60,000. But as I read this report, they're committed to make electric vehicles affordable. In fact, they made one several years ago, and it was the ugliest thing that anybody had ever seen, and it was a flop. But from what I read in this report, is they're looking to get a car down in the 20,000 and lower range. Because, again, I spent a month in China, and that was 10, 15 years ago. These folks don't drive like we do. First of all, you don't want a big car. You don't want a BMW. You probably don't want a Tesla in Beijing and Shanghai. If you're a working class individual, you want a smaller vehicle because you aren't going to drive a whole lot of miles. So I think I've discovered something that everybody else is overlooking. So I do own Tesla, I do own NIO, and now I own BYD. So that's my commitment to you. I'm looking as to where do I fit into this whole YouTube deal. There's a lot of people who come on and tell you, yeah, buy NIO today, buy Workhorse today, buy Eastman Kodak today. That's not who I am. I'm a conservative investor, but I'm one who recognizes that true money, big money, is made as a result of anticipating change, anticipating what is going to change in the world you live in and who's going to fulfill the future needs that have been created as a result of change. and the biggest change we're going to deal with in the next 12 months is the recovery from the coronavirus. But I think right behind that is electric vehicles. So that's where my attention's going. I know that we're going to get into genome sequencing. I know that my doctor is going to move out of the Kirkland Clinic, and he's going to show up on my phone, and he's not going to meet with me once a year. He's going to meet with me on a daily basis, and he's going to analyze my health, and he's going to give me a clear bill of health on my phone so that I can get on cruise ships, so that I can go into restaurants, and that's part of the change. And the other part of the change is those internal combustion engine cars sitting in my garage are going to leave. Maybe not my wife's Porsche, unless I got her an electric Porsche, but I don't see that happen. They want $144,000 for that electric Porsche that will give me 250-mile range. I don't think that's going to happen. So that's my YouTube channel, Best of Us Investors. See, we have mugs, we have T-shirts, we have hats, we have. If this is the kind of video you enjoy watching, and that you find informative, and that you believe I can help you make good investment decisions, keep more of what you make, understanding the tax code, and building $24 million of family wealth. That's the total that a couple can pass on estate tax-free, $24 million, currently in the United States. If those are three objectives, good financial decisions, keep more of what you make, and pass $24 million on to your heirs, if those fit your menu, hit that like button, subscribe, and do all those other things that you need to do. So, come join us at bestofusinvestors.com.